Dear students, welcome to our today's economic session. So, in the last economic session, we discussed in detail the first important method of calculating national income. Okay, that is value added method. Okay, and you know that there are actually three types of method available for the calculation or the estimation of the national income. First one is the value added method or the product method, and the second one is the income method, and the third one is the expenditure method. And in the last economic session, we discussed in detail one of the first important method of calculating national income, that is value added or the product method. Okay, we have discussed in detail all those things. Okay, now in this economic sessions, we are entering into our second important method of calculating national income, that is the income method. That is the income method. The income method of calculating national income. Okay, the income method of estimating national income. Okay, so what do you mean by an income method of calculating national income? So in the value added method, we seen that for calculating national income, we added the value of the product. Okay, so there we take the value of the product, but in order to understand the income method, okay, here we discuss in detail the income method of calculating the income method of calculating national income. Okay, the income method of calculating national income. Okay, so under the income method of calculation or the estimation of the national income by using the income method can be discussed under three headings. Okay, here also we discuss the income method under three subheadings. First one is what? First one is the method of calculating. First one is the method of calculating or estimating national income. Method of estimating or calculating national income. And the second one is what? The second one is the steps of estimating. The steps of estimating national income. The steps of estimating national income. And the third step is what? The third step is the precautions. The third step is the precautions. The precautions of estimating national income. Okay, so in the income method, we discuss the income method can be discussed under three headings. Okay, the first one is what? The first one is the method of calculating national income, and the second one is the steps for estimating. What are the important steps for calculating the national income by using the income method? Then the third one is the precautions. What are the precautions we have to take while we estimating the national income by using the income method? Okay, so first one is what? First one is the method of calculating national income. Okay, first of all we discuss what are the method of estimating. The method of estimating national income. The method of estimating national income. So what are the method? What are the method of estimating national income under the income method? So as the name itself indicating that it is the income method. So what do you mean by income method? Okay, as the name itself indicating that here we are taking the income of the factors of production. Okay, so which are the factors of production? So you already know there are four types of factors of production. Okay, in the economy there are four types of factors of production are prevailing. First one is the land. Okay, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. Okay, entrepreneur. So these are the important factors of production. Okay, the factors of production are: first one is the land, second one is the labor, third one is the capital, and the fourth one is the entrepreneur itself. Okay, the land, labor, capital, and the entrepreneur. So in order to estimate the national income, we are adding the income of these. We are adding the income of these factors of production. Okay, what is the what is the income of the land? Land get remuneration in the form of what? They get remuneration in the form of rent. Okay, land or the buildings get remuneration in the form of what? That is in the form of rent, and labor get remuneration in the form of wage. Remuneration in the form of wage, and capital get remuneration in the form of interest. Then entrepreneur get remuneration in the form of what? It is in the form of profit. It is in the form of profit. So we can say that under the income method, the national income is calculated. Okay, the national income is calculated by the sum of the factor payments. Okay, it is that here the national income is calculated by the sum of the factor payments that is given by the what? It is given by the production unit to the factors of production. Okay, that is the method of estimating national income. Okay, here we are taking the factor income of the factor payments. Okay, the producer or the employer they give what? Or they provide factor income for the factors of production for rendering their factor services. Okay, for rendering their factor services. Okay, so this is the method of estimating national income. Okay, this is the first heading. So the first subheading is over. That is the method of estimating national income. Okay, now the second important step is what? The second important step is the second important heading is the steps in estimating national income. Steps in estimating national income. Okay, so what are the important steps? Which are the important steps associated with the calculation of national income? There are there are different type of steps associated with the calculation of the national income. The first one is what? The first one is the identification. Okay, the first one is the identification of the producing units. Identification of producing units. Identification of the producing units. Okay, this is the first important steps. The first important step is the identification of the producing units. Okay, which are the important producing units? The producing units means what? As we all know that the employer or the producer will always produce producing units to make outputs. So which are the important producing units? So the important producing units are the land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur or the organization. Okay, so these are the important producing units: land, labor, capital, and organization. The land, labor, capital, and organization. Okay, the land gets a remuneration in the form of rent, and the labor gets a remuneration in the form of wage, and the land, labor, capital. The capital gets a remuneration in the form of interest, and the entrepreneur gets a remuneration in the form of profits. Okay. Then, okay, if there are different or identifying the production units, if this is the producing units, or which are the important industrial units? The industrial units are primary sector, secondary sector, and the tertiary sector. Okay. So what is the duty of the primary sector? The main duty of the primary sector is what? They will exploit the natural resources. Okay. The main duty of the primary sector is the exploitation of the natural resources. And when we are coming to the secondary sector, they will transform one commodity into another form. Okay, they will transform one commodity into another form. When we are coming to the tertiary sector, what their main duty is what? They are rendering services. Okay, so the first step is the identification of producing units. This is the first important steps. Now, what is the second steps? The second step is the classifying factor payments. The second important step is the classifying factor payments. factor payments. Okay, the second important step is the classifying factor payments. Okay, how can we classify the factor payments? How can we classify the factor payments? So the factor payments can be classified into three. The first one is what? The first one is the compensation of employees. First one is the compensation of employees. The first one is the compensation of the employees. And the second one is the operating surplus. Second one is the operating surplus. Second one is the operating surplus. And the third one is what? The third one, compensation of the employees, then operating surplus. The third one is the mixed income. It is the mixed income. Okay, so this is the important, this is the classification of the factor payment. First one is the compensation of the employees. Second one is what? Second one is the operating surplus. And the third one is what? It is the mixed income. Now we have to discuss each of the item in detail. First one is what? First one is the compensation of employees. Okay, what do you mean by the term compensation of employees? Have you heard about the term compensation of employees? Compensation of employees. Compensation of employees. Compensation of the employees. Or we can write COE. COE. That is the compensation of employees. COE. COE. COE is the compensation of employees. So what do you mean by compensation of employees? So the compensation of the employee, which means what? It is the total amount of remuneration. It is the total amount of It is the total amount of remuneration. It is the total amount of the remuneration received. It is the total amount of the remuneration that is received. Again. It is the total amount of the remuneration that is in either in cash or in kind or social security measures and social security measures, social security schemes. Any social security scheme, social security contribution or scheme. Okay, it is the total amount of the remuneration. So we can say that the compensation of the employee, which means what? It is the total amount of the remuneration in cash or in kind or any social security schemes received by whom? It is received by an employer or employee who from an employer during an accounting year. Okay, during an accounting year. That is known as what? That is known as compensation of employees. That is known as compensation of employees. So the compensation of the employee means what? It is the total amount of the remuneration. Okay. The compensation of the employees, which means what? It is the total amount of the remuneration it is in cash or in kind or any social security contribution or social security measures by what? Social security measures that is received by an employer from an employee from an employer, what, in exchange of his factor services. That is in exchange of his factor services during an accounting year. Okay, it is during an accounting year. Or we can say that the compensation of the employee is what? It is the reward. It is the reward. Okay, the compensation of the employee is what? It is the reward rendering. Okay, compensation of the employee is the reward rendering for the productive services by the worker. Okay, it is the compensation is the reward rendering for the production services. It is for the productive services by the worker. That is what is known as compensation of employees. So, which are the important types of compensation? So, the compensation of the employees can be discussed in different headings. First one is what? That is wages in cash. Okay, first one is the wages in cash. First one is the wages in cash. First one is what? The wages in the cash. That is the first important common COE. That is the wages in cash. So what do you mean by wages in cash? As the name itself indicating that it is the monetary. These are what? These are the monetary benefits. So wages in cash are the monetary benefits. Monetary benefits. Monetary benefits like basic pay, then what? Commission, bonus, DA, etc. So all these are what? All these are the monetary benefits. So we can say that wage in cash are the monetary benefits. Wage in cash are the monetary benefits like basic pay, dearness allowance, bonus, commissions. All these are what? All these are considered as the wages in cash. Wages in cash. Okay. Then all the house rent allowances, etc. All these are the wages in cash. Now we are moving to what? Wages in kind. Okay, the wages in kind. Okay, what do you mean by wages in kind? Wages in kind. Which are the important wages in kind? So these are what? It is the non-monetary benefits. Wages in kind are the non-monetary. It is the non-monetary benefits. It is the non-monetary benefits. The wages in kind are the non-monetary benefits like what? It is the non-monetary benefits like what? Rentless houses. Okay, rent-free houses, free conveyance. Then what? Then there is free conveyance, medical facilities, then vehicles for the personal use. So all these are what? All these are the wages in kind. So we can say that wages in kind are the monetary. Wages in kind are the monetary benefits. So the monetary benefits like rent, free house, free conveyance, medical facilities, then vehicles for the personal use, etc. All these are what? All these are considered as what? All these are considered as the wage in kind. There is one more topic, that is what? The social security contribution. Okay, the social security schemes. Wages in the social security schemes. The third one is the wages in social security scheme. Wages in the social security scheme. So what do you mean by wages in the social security scheme? What do you mean by wages in the social security scheme? Here, what? The contribution made by the employer. Here, wages in the social security schemes, which means what? The social security schemes. The wages in the social security schemes, which means what? That is the contribution made by an employer in what? Many social welfare measures. But it is the what? Contribution made by the employer for employee in what? Any social for the his main aim is what? It is for the welfare of the employee. Okay, it is for the welfare of employee. That is, he will contribute any social security schemes for the benefit of employees. Okay, that is what? That is the wages in the social security schemes. For example, what? The contribution made to the PF, the contribution made to the Provident Fund, gratuity, retirement funds, or any other schemes which is considered as what? Which is considered as the wages in the social security schemes. Okay, so we can say that this is the compensation of the employees. Compensation of the employees, which means what? It is the total amount of remuneration. What? It is the total amount of the remuneration what? Given to the employer for his factor services during an accounting year. That is wages in cash. That is either wages in cash, wages in kind, then social security schemes. Okay. Now The second important one is what? The second important step, the second important what? The second important classification of the factor income is the what? The second important contribution of the factor income is the operating surplus. It is the operating surplus. So what do you mean by operating surplus? Operating surplus. So operating surplus. The operating surplus is the income from property. It is the income from property, income from property, and income from entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship. Okay, so this is the operating surplus. An operating surplus defined as the income from the property and also the income from the entrepreneurship. Okay, the income from the property are what? It is the rent. Income from the property are rent, royalty, and interest. Okay, it is very important. So operating surplus, which means the income from the property, and the income from the property, which means the rent, the royalty, and the interest. Okay, that is the income from property. Then what is the income from the entrepreneurship? The income from the entrepreneurship. The income from the entrepreneurship is what? It is the profit itself. Am I right? It is the profit. So the profit. Okay, it is the profit. So income from the entrepreneurship is what? It is the profit, and the profit is the sum total of dividends plus corporate tax plus corporate savings. Okay, so this is the operating surplus. Okay, operating surplus is the sum total of income from the property and the income from the entrepreneurship, and the income from the property, which means rent, royalty, and the interest. Rent, royalty, and the interest, and the income from the entrepreneurship, which means what? It is the profit. Okay, it is the profit, that is dividends plus corporate tax plus corporate savings. Okay, so first one is the income from property. The income from the property are of three types, that is rent. Okay, rent. First one is the rent. So what do you mean by the rent? So as you all know that a rent is what? A rent is a factor income generated from the land or the building. Am I right? That is a rent. A rent can be defined as the factor income that is generated from the building, a building or a land. Okay. So here the rental income includes what? Here the rental income includes the rent lent out of property. Okay, first one is the land that is lent out of property, that is the actual rent, or if that is the rent what is it is a rent on what? Rental houses, the unoccupied houses, that is known as what? It is the imputed rent. Okay, so the first item is what? It is the rent. So rent, which means what? Rent is what? Rent is something which is generated from the what? It is a factor income generated from the land or the building. Now the second one is what? The second one is the royalty. So what do you mean by the term royalty? Royalty is the factor income generated from. It is a factor income generated from the copyright. It is factor income generated from the what? Generating, that is leasing rights and copyright. It is from the leasing rights and copyright. Okay, that is the royalty. Now the third one is what? That is the interest. So what do you mean by the term interest? So as you all know that an interest is a factor income that is generated from capital. Am I right? Interest is something that is generated, and interest is something that is a factor income interest is the factor income. Okay, interest is the factor income that is generated from the capital. Okay, so all these are then royalty and the interest are the what income from property. Okay, it is the income from property or okay, that is the income from property. That is the operating. That is the income from property. Now the income from next one is what? Next one is the income from entrepreneurship. The income from the entrepreneurship. Income from entrepreneurship or profit. First, second one is the profit. Second one is the profit. So what do you mean by profit? So how can we define profit? A profit is the factor income that is generated from entrepreneurship. Am I right? A profit is something that is the factor income that is generated from entrepreneurship. Okay. A profit is something that is a factor income which is generated from the entrepreneurship. Okay, the profit can be further divided into first one is the dividend. Okay, first one is the dividend. You know what is the meaning of the dividend, and this dividend is actually what it is distributed among the shareholders. It is distributed among shareholders. It is distributed among the shareholders. It is distributed among the shareholders. Now the second one is, first one is the dividend. Second one is what? Second one is the corporate tax. Okay, it is the corporate tax. Second one is the corporate tax. So what do you mean by corporate tax? Corporate tax is a tax on profits. Am I right? Corporate tax, which means what? It is a tax on profits that is paid to whom? It is paid to the government. Okay, that is a corporate tax. Corporate tax is something which is what it is. Corporate tax is the tax on profits, and it is paid to the government. Now the next one is what? It is a corporate savings. Corporate savings. So what do you mean by corporate savings? So corporate savings is the surplus. Okay, that is the corporate savings is the surplus of profits that is retained for what? It is retained for the expansion of industry or the business or to meet any unexpected contingencies. Okay, it is used for any unexpected contingencies. So a corporate tax is the surplus on the profits that is, and this surplus is used for what? It is either used for the expansion of the industry or what? Or it is for the it is for what? It is for meet the unexpected contingencies. Okay, so that is the operating surplus. So operating surplus is the income from the property and the income from the entrepreneurship. Now, the next important classification of the factor payment is the mixed income of the self-employed. The mixed income of self-employed. It is the mixed income of the self-employed. So what do you mean by the mixed income of the self-employed? Okay, the mixed income of the self-employed, which means the income of the on-account workers. Income of on-account workers. The income of the on-account workers and the unincorporated enterprises. And unincorporated and incorporated enterprises. Okay, so this is the mixed income of the self-employed. So the mixed income of the self-employed is what? It is the income of the on-account workers and unincorporated enterprises. Okay, the mixed income is the income of the on-account workers. On-account workers like farmers, doctors, or bakers, etc. They are known as what? They are known as the on-account workers. Then what is the unincorporated enterprises? So you see that there are several small shopkeepers or shopkeepers, then repair shops. Shopkeepers or any other repair shops. Okay, so they are not coming to the market, so their income is known as what? Their income is known as mixed income. So these are the three types of the classification of the factor income. First one is the compensation of the employees. First one is the compensation of the employees. Compensation of employees, COE. Compensation of the employees. Second one is the operating surplus. and the third one is the mixed income. And these three important concept is very necessary for the calculation of the income method. In order to calculate the or estimating the national income, here we are using the compensation of the employees, operating surplus, and mixed income. Okay. Now another important step is the calculation of the domestic factor income. Okay, the calculation of domestic factor income. The calculation of domestic factor income or net domestic product at a factor cost. Okay, the net domestic product at a factor cost. So how can we find out the net domestic product at a factor cost? Okay, the formula of calculating the domestic product at a factor cost is equals to compensation of the employee plus, it is the compensation of employee plus then operating surplus. Next one is the operating surplus plus mixed income. Okay, so this is the calculation of the net domestic factor income or NDP at a factor cost, or NDP at a factor cost. NDP at a factor cost is equals to COE plus OS plus MI, that is compensation of the employee plus operating surplus plus money mixed income of the self-employed. Now another important step is what? Another important step is the calculation of the national income. Calculation of national income, that is NNB at a factor cost. This is a factor cost, not market price. In income method, we are using the factor cost. So NNB at a factor cost is equals to NDP at a factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. Okay, it is the sum total of NDP at a factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. This is the formula of calculating national income. What is the formula of calculating domestic income? That is the NDP at a factor cost. NDP at a factor cost is equals to compensation of employee plus operating surplus plus mixed income. Okay, when we are coming to the national income, that is NNB. Always remember that national income is NNB. NNB at a factor cost. When we are coming to the value added method, it is NNB at a market price. So here it is NNB at a factor cost is equals to NDP at a factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. So these are the important steps associated with the calculation of national income under the income method. Okay. Okay, now we are moving to the precautions. Okay, now we are moving to what? The precautions of estimating national income under the income method. The precautions. What are the precautions of estimating national income under the income method? Which are the important precautions? So the first important precaution is that the transfer income will not be included. Okay, the first one is the transfer income. Transfer income will not be included. Transfer income will not be included. Here we didn't include the transfer income. The transfer income like unemployment allowances, etc. So these are those things are not included in the transfer income. Okay, this transfer income will not be included in the calculation of what? For the calculation of national income. Now the second one is what? The second one is income from the sale of the second-hand goods. The income from the sale of second-hand. Income from the sale of second-hand goods. Second-hand goods is not included. Not included. Okay, here the income from the second-hand goods is not included. Why? Because their value or their net addition is already included in the year in which they are produced. We had already discussed those points. Okay, we are not included the value or the income from the sale of the second-hand goods because their income is already included in the year in which they produce. That is why we are not included the value of the sale of the second-hand goods. But another possibility is that their brokerage. If there is any dealer or intermediary in between for the transactions, then we can take their services, their factor income. Their remuneration is considered as here. Okay, then next one is the one. Another important precaution is that income from the sale of the share and bonds. Income from sale of share and bonds. Share and bonds. Okay, here the income from the share and bonds is also not included. Why? Because these transactions are like financial transactions. They are not merely correspondence to the not merely correspondence to the transaction of or flow of the goods and services. So the value of or the income from the sale of the share and bonds is not also included for the calculation of the national income under the income method. Then another important precaution is that the windfall gains will not be included. The windfall gains will not be included. The windfall gains will not be included. The windfall gains like what? It is the lotteries and horse races. Okay, so those things are also they are not considered for the calculation of national income. Then another important thing is the illegal incomes. The illegal incomes are also excluded. Here, the illegal incomes are also excluded from the calculation of what? From the calculation of the national income. Illegal activities like smuggling, hoarding, black marketing, all these things are excluded from the calculation of the national income. Then, another important thing. That is the payment out of the accumulated savings. The payment out of accumulated savings. The payment out of the accumulated savings are also excluded. That is the gift taxes, wealth taxes. Those things are also excluded. Then indirect taxes. Indirect taxes are also excluded because these indirect taxes will again increase the price of the market. So their value is already included. So that is why we are excluded the value of the indirect tax or GST. Okay. So here we are excluded the value of the indirect taxes, and also now the interest paid by the production. Now the interest paid by the production on the borrowed capital is included. Okay, that is included here. Which one is that? It is the interest paid by the production unit. The interest paid by the production units on the borrowed capital. Why? Because that we are used for the investment purpose. So it is we are used for the calculation of the national income. But the interest paid for what? The interest paid for the borrowed capital by the consumers is excluded. Okay, because that are used for what? That are used for the consumption purpose. That is why we are excluded the interest paid to the borrowed capital. That is also excluded. Then the imputed value of the rent on occupied houses. That is also included for the calculation of the national income. Then the monetary value of the production of the goods and fixed assets for the self-consumption. That is also included. Okay. Then another important item included is the free services provided by the owners of the production units. So all these are the precautions we are using for the calculation of the national income under the income method. Okay. It is under the income method. Okay. Now we are entering into the practical applications of the income method. Okay, the practical application. The practical applications of the income method. Okay. So what is the formula of calculating income method? So in order to find out NDP at factor cost, this is the domestic income. Okay. So in order to find out NDP at factor cost, we have compensation of the employee plus operating surplus plus then mixed income. Okay, this is the formula of find out the domestic income or NDP at factor cost. Or then what is the formula of calculating national income? NNB at factor cost. That is the national income. So NNB at factor cost is equals to NDP at factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. It is the net factor income from abroad. Okay. Now here we have an example of how can we use the income method for calculating the national income. Okay. First of all, we are entering into an example. Okay. Here the question is calculate the net domestic product at factor cost. That is the NDP. NDP at a factor cost. This is the question. Here we have to find out NDP at a factor cost. What is the formula of calculating NDP at a factor cost? That is NDP at a factor cost is equals to compensation of the employee plus operating surplus plus mixed income. Okay, this is the formula of calculating what? This is the formula of calculating NDP at a factor cost. Now, here we have a table. Okay, the table is like this. On the first column, we have the particulate. Here we have the particulate. Here we have the particulate, and on the second column, we have the rupees in crore. Okay, the first particular is the rent. The first particular is the rent. Okay, that is 1,400. It is 1,400. Then the second particular is the royalty. Second particular is the royalty. That is 200. It is 200. The third particular is the interest. The third particular is the interest. That is 1,500. 1,500. Then another one is the wages and salaries. Wages and salaries. Wages and salaries. That is wages and salaries is the 800. Then another one is the profit. Another one is the profit. Profit is the 500. Then mixed income. Then another one is the mixed income. That is 1,000. Mixed income is the 1,000. Then depreciation is depreciation. Then another one is the depreciation. That is 70. Then employees contribution to the social security scheme. That is SSS. SSS. Employees contribution to the social security schemes. That is what? It is 200. Okay. So this is the table. Okay. So from this table, we have to find out what? We have to find out the net domestic product at a factor cost. NDP at a factor cost. Compensation of the employees plus then it is the compensation of the employees plus operating surplus plus then another one is what? Another one is the mixed income. So that is the formula. Okay. So now we are going to calculate the income method by using the formula. So the formula is what? The formula is NDP at factor cost is equals to what? Compensation of the employees plus operating surplus plus mixed income. Okay, it is the mixed income. So here, as per the table, the compensation of the employees are what? The compensation of the employees are wages and salaries is the compensation of the employees. That is, first one is the compensation of the employees are wages and salaries. Wages and salaries. Then wages and salaries. Then also there is SSS. That is social security schemes. That is wages and salaries plus SSS. That is the compensation of employees. As per our table, the wages and salaries plus SSS or the social security schemes are the compensation of the employees plus here the operating surplus. As we all know that the operating surplus included dividends. Okay. The income from the property and the income from the entrepreneurship. That is what properties are. It is the rent, royalty, then what? Rent, royalty, then interest. And also the income from the entrepreneurships are the dividends, corporate tax, corporate savings. So as per the table, here we have income from the properties are the rent is here, royalty is here, the royalty is here, royalty plus, then interest is here, it is the interest. Then profit also given, that is 500. Profit also given, that is 500. It is profit. So that is the operating surplus. When royalty, interest plus profits, that is the operating surplus plus mixed income. Mixed income is all directly given, that is MI. So this is the formula. So we can rewrite the formula NDP at the factor cost like wages and salaries plus social security contribution plus rent, royalty plus vendor plus royalty plus investor plus profit plus mixed income. So we can rewrite these equations like, first one is the wages and compensation of the employees. First one is the what? Wages and salary is what? It is the 800. Wages and salary is the 800 plus social security schemes is given, that is 200. 800 plus 200 plus operating surplus. Rent is given 1400. 1400 plus royalty is 200. Royalty is 200 plus interest is given, that is 1100. 1500. 1500. Then profit is also given. Profit is what? Profit is 500. Okay. The profit is 500 plus mixed income. What is the mixed income is given as 1000. Mixed income is given as 1000. So now it is easy to calculate NDP at factor cost. So 800 plus 200, it is 1000 plus 1400 plus 200 plus 1500 plus 500. That is 200 plus. That is 3600. Okay, it is 3600 plus 1000. 3600 plus 1000, that is 1000 plus 3600 plus 1000, that is 5600. Okay, this is the net domestic product at the factor cost. This is the net domestic product at the factor cost. The rupees 1000, 5600 crore. 5600 crore. Okay, this is what is mean by NDP at the factor cost. Okay, so this is the one of the example. Now we have another example. We are going to one more example. That is the question is calculate the national income. Here the question is directly given national income. The second important question is calculate the national income. So what is the formula of calculating national income? Is it NDP at the factor cost? Is the NDP at the factor cost is what? It is the calculation of the domestic income. What is the formula of calculating national income? It is the NNB at the factor cost. NNB at the factor cost. Okay. The NNB at the factor cost is the NNB at the factor cost is the national income under the income method, and here NNB at the factor cost is equals to NDP at the factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. This is the formula. NDP at the factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. So in order to find out NNB at the factor cost, first we have to find out NDP at the factor cost. What is mean by NDP at the factor cost? Okay. So now we have to go for the example, and here I have the table. And on the first column I have the particulars, and the second column I have the rupees info. So the first particular is what? It is the depreciation. The first particular is the depreciation, and the depreciation is 15,000. Now the second particular is the net indirect tax. Net indirect tax. Net indirect tax, that is 7,000. That is 7,000. Then rent and royalty. Okay, the rent and royalty. The rent and royalty is what? The rent and royalty is 6,000. The rent and royalty is 6,000. Now, the factor income received from the rest of the world. The factor income from raw. The factor income from the rest of the world, that is 10,000. That is 10,000. Then factor income paid to abroad. The factor income paid abroad. The factor income paid abroad is 6,000. Now subsidies are the subsidy. The subsidy is 2,000. Subsidy is 2,000. Now income from the domestic product according to the private sector. Okay, income from the product according to private sector. Okay, according to the income from the product according to, that is, I write the short form, income from the product according to the private sector is 70,000. It is the 70,000. Then income from the domestic product. Then another one is the income from the domestic product according to the government or the public sector. Government or the public sector, that is 25,000. It is 25,000. So this is the particulars and their rupees in crores. The depreciation is 50,000. Then net indirect tax is 7,000. Then rent and royalty is 6,000. Then factor income from the rest of the world is 10,000. Then factor income paid to the abroad, that is 6,000. Then subsidy is 2,000. Then income from the domestic production to the private sector. Income from the domestic production to the private sector is 70,000. Then income from the domestic production to the government or the public sector, that is what it is, 25,000. It is the 25,000. So from this data we have to calculate national income. Okay, so the formula of national income is what? NDP at factor cost plus, okay, it is the NNB. Okay, the formula of calculating national income in the income method is what? It is the NNB at factor cost is equals to NDP at factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. Okay, first of all we have to find out NDP at factor cost. Okay, the NDP at factor cost. Okay, what is the NDP at factor cost? Here, as per the table, we are taking NDP as factor cost as the 7th and 8th items, because it included the income from subsidy product, okay, income from the domestic product according to the private sector and also to the government sector. That is the 7th and 8th items. Okay, so here we are taking the 7th and 8th items. First one is the 7th item. It is 7 plus 8 items. 7th and 8th items, that is equals to 70,000. It is the 70,000 plus 25,000. 70,000 plus 25,000, that is 95,000. It is the 95,000. So here NDP at factor cost is what? It is the 95,000. NDP at factor cost is the 95,000. NDP at factor cost is what? It is the 95,000. Okay. Now here we have the NDP at factor cost. Now we are moving to what? NNB at factor cost. NNB at factor cost is equal to NDP at factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. Okay, net factor income from abroad. So NDP at factor cost is given 95,000 plus net factor income from abroad. Here, how can we calculate the net factor income from abroad? Here, net factor income from abroad is the factor income received from the raw minus factor income paid to the abroad. Okay, the factor income received from the raw, that is the 4th item, and factor income paid to the abroad. Factor income paid to the abroad, that is we are deducting 4th item minus 5th item, that is 10,000 minus, that is equals to 95,000 plus 10,000 minus 6,000. Okay, that is equals to 95,000 plus 4,000. Okay, 95,000 plus 400, that is 99,000 crore. 99,000 crore. So this is the national income, NNB at a factor cost. This is the NNB at a factor cost. Okay, so this is about what? This is about the income method. Okay, so here under the income method we are taking only what? The factor payment. The factor payment given to the factors of production, and Here, under the income method, in order to find out NDP at factor cost, we are using what? COE, compensation of the employees plus profit, compensation of the employees plus operating surplus plus mixed income. And the NNB at factor cost is equal to NDP at factor cost plus net factor income from abroad. So I hope all of you understand the topic very well. So here we are winding up our session here. Thank you.